My name is Lila Monroe. I'm 24 years old, and I learned what it means to be unwanted before I learned how to fix it. I was 12 when my mother decided I didn't belong in her version of a successful family. The explanation she gave people sounded reasonable, almost kind. She said I needed a quieter environment, more structure, a chance to improve. But I remember the real conversation. I remember the way the kitchen light made everything look harsher than it was. My report card sat between us, untouched food going cold at my elbow. My mother didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. She just looked tired. "Some children move forward," she said, "and some slow everyone else down." She didn't say my name, but she didn't have to. I wasn't failing because I didn't try. I was failing because every test felt like a countdown, every grade like proof that I was exactly what she already believed. And standing next to Claire, my twin, my opposite, I never had a chance to be anything else. Claire was easy to love, brilliant, composed, predictable. I was none of those things. I loved drawing. I loved stories. I could sit for hours turning blank pages into something alive. But in our house, that wasn't talent. It was distraction. That night, I left. I didn't think about where I was going. I just needed to get out of a place where I could feel myself being measured and found lacking in real time. I walked into the cold without a coat, without a plan. Just the quiet certainty that staying hurt more. They found me the next morning. For a second, a small, foolish second, I thought something would change, that fear would soften her, that she would hold me like I mattered. Instead, she packed my bag. I remember standing in the hallway, promising things I didn't understand. I said I would study harder, I would talk less, I would be easier. She didn't argue. She didn't comfort me. She just said, "Claire has a future to protect." That was the moment I stopped being her daughter and became her problem. The drive to my Aunt Margaret's house felt longer than it should have. My father kept both hands on the wheel, like if he let go, something would fall apart. My mother answered emails. Claire wasn't there. That was the part I couldn't make sense of. Losing my home hurt. Losing my sister felt like something else entirely. When we arrived, Aunt Margaret was already outside. She didn't wait for introductions. She just pulled me into a hug so tight it knocked the air out of me. I didn't cry. Not then. My mother handed her a folder. Papers, records, instructions. A clean transfer. Like I was something that needed managing. "She needs discipline," my mother said. Aunt Margaret looked at me instead. "She looks like she needs someone on her side," she replied. It was the first time anyone had said something like that out loud. For 2 weeks, I barely spoke. I kept my suitcase packed beside the bed because unpacking felt like agreeing with what they had done, like admitting I wasn't going back. Aunt Margaret didn't push. She didn't ask for explanations or demand improvement. She just stayed. She made pancakes for dinner when I refused breakfast, left art supplies on the table without pointing them out, drove me to school without warning me not to embarrass her. The first time I brought home a bad grade, I braced for it. The disappointment, the silence, the shift in the room. She looked at it, then at me. "Did you understand more than last time?" I hesitated. "A little." "Then we're not stuck," she said. "We're moving." That should have been a small moment. It wasn't. It was the first time failure didn't feel like the end of something. In that town, I wasn't the other twin. I was just Lila. Awkward at first, quiet, but not already decided. I joined the art club because Aunt Margaret slipped the form into my bag like it didn't matter whether I used it or not. I painted stage backdrops, designed posters, helped people who didn't ask me to be anything except useful. At 15, I sold my first painting. It was small, a watercolor of the library after snowfall. Nothing extraordinary, but someone bought it. They said it felt warm, safe. I carried that $20 bill home like it meant something bigger than money. Aunt Margaret didn't laugh. She framed the moment like it mattered. Because to her, it did. That night, I realized something quietly devastating. I didn't miss my mother the way I used to. By the time I graduated, I had stopped waiting for things to go back to the way they were. Because the truth was, I didn't want them to anymore. College was hard. Work, classes, late nights, constant pressure. But it was mine. No one was watching me fail. No one was comparing me. Every mistake belonged to me, and somehow, that made it easier to survive. That's where I met Daniel. He didn't try to fix me, didn't try to define me. He just noticed things, small things. The way I drew without looking up, the way I hesitated before calling something finished. His family was the same. They showed up, quietly, consistently. No conditions, no tests. At first, it felt strange. Then it felt dangerous. Then, eventually, it felt normal. We built something real. Not perfect, not easy, but steady. When we got married, Aunt Margaret stood beside me. My parents didn't come. I noticed, but it didn't break me. When our daughter Eva was born, something settled inside me. Holding her, I understood something I had spent years trying to explain away. There is no version of love where you look at a child and decide they are optional. None. Years later, my mother reached out. She said enough time had passed. Not that she was sorry, not that she was wrong, just that time had done its job. I let her come, not because I forgave her, but because I needed her to see. Dinner was quiet, careful. She observed everything, my home, my work, my life. "This is nice," she said at one point. Nice. Like it was a hobby she hadn't expected to succeed. Then she said it. "I hope you understand now that we made the best decision we could." We. As if I had been part of it. Something in me didn't break. It steadied. I stood up slowly, my hands steady in a way they wouldn't have been years ago. "I do understand something," I said. Everyone went still. "I understand that you didn't raise me." No shouting, no anger, just truth. And everything I have now came from the people who stayed. The silence that followed felt different, not empty, final. She left angry. Claire followed, caught somewhere between guilt and loyalty. My father said nothing. Some things never change. Later, she tried to rewrite it, publicly, cleanly, carefully. But this time, I didn't stay quiet. I told the truth. Not loudly, not cruelly, just clearly enough that it couldn't be ignored. And for once, it held. I didn't win by hurting her. I didn't win by proving anything. I won because her voice stopped being the one that defined me. Now, I create things for people who feel the way I used to. Invisible, misunderstood, not enough. Because they are. They always were. Family isn't who refuses to let you fail. It's who stays when you do. And if the people who left ever come back, asking to be let in without owning what they broke, you can open the door, but you don't have to move aside.